And a lot of what I wanted to do here on this program was show you some methodologies for how, I did newsrooms. Maybe others do it the same way too, or slightly differently. And I was hoping they would be useful. One of those to talk about how I collect the news and the methodology being different from others. This week I had a couple of people come and get upset with me, as a matter of fact, over this very matter, because they complained about my sources and they said this and that and the other. One of them got real hot. He upset me. I ended up reading one of his pieces this week, which was okay. It's a little ridiculous, if you ask me. So what I have is a simple folder with multiple sources in it, and another folder. Let's say this is for art, right? So you have Hyperallergic, White Hot, Art News, Art Forum, Art in America, Freeze, Contemporary Art for Sale on. I don't know what those other things. I don't even look at much of this. Two Coats of Paint, a blog zine for painters. Whenever I find something I want to look at in multiple over time that's covering stuff about art, I throw it into this folder, and then I can pop them open as I please. But in the morning, this is my info folder. And we were talking about reading sites that are print as opposed to watching videos by MSNBC or CNN or videos in general. No TV-based. If you can pull together a simple folder of the print-based reporting, then you can get the material that those talking heads are talking about, and if you read quickly like I do, you can process it. So here I have simply the Associated Press, just to show you what basics. The BBC, New York Times, the Mercury News of San Jose, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times. The Christian Science Monitor, that's a weekly, actually, I believe. It's interesting. They have reporters all over the world, and some of their writing's pretty good. San Francisco Chronicle, Newsday, Chicago Tribune, The Independent in the UK, the Times and the Sunday Times, the UK, Financial Times of the UK, Le Monde Diplomatique, Le Monde, the French front paper, which we showed on the program how to use the translate button, and you can just read papers from around the world. You don't have to have them in your own language. The TOI Times of India, the Hindu in India from my home state, and very old, and this I have to stay in touch with for my personal feeling of connectedness to Tambrams. China Daily website, this is pretty funny, just because it's always a few days later than the actual news and filled with propaganda, but maybe all of it is. There's another AP one down there. So I can pop open any of these in the morning. Bang! Here's what the New York Times front page. Upheaval in Washington. Shutdown looms. World reacts to Mattis resignation. Quickly, I can realize I know what most of this is about. The Defense Secretary Jim Mattis has resigned. He thinks it's a mistake what Trump is doing with regard to Syria. Trump is saying shut it down. I don't care. The government's going to be shut down. Like 7 out of 10 federal agencies' employees are now not going to be able to work. And this idiot is trying to blame the Democrats. The Washington Post, bang! Mattis resigns after clash with Trump over Syria withdrawal. That's the very front of that. This thing is crazy, by the way. That story's amazing. Morning of alarm. Trump plunges markets, government into crisis. Okay. The Mercury News out in San Jose is my favorite paper in the Bay Area. It's better than the Chronicle. It's better than the LA Times. Well, that's not in the Bay Area, California. It's better than most things. Highly recommended, but you have to pay for it to get it, and I don't. Sometimes you can get stories by going to Google. You find the story here, then you go to Google, and then you plug in the story, and you'll get it in a search engine posted somewhere else by someone who has it. That's a good way to do that. And one of the things I wanted to do with this show was do that. I was hoping that with this program I could read stuff that maybe you don't have time to get to. But the methodology of the program on the last episode of the AntiClimactic NonShow with your host. And I want you to try to take advantage of it, something that you could do yourself if you want to pick up news a better way than having it read to you. The LA Times, if there's a government shutdown tonight, here's how it could affect you. Time remaining to avoid a government shutdown, 11:49:22. 11 hours and 50 minutes from now, the government will be shut down over a wall between Mexico and the United States demanded by one man. The teacher strike, which we covered on this program, more about that. Here's the AP. Now, the AP is going to be more conservative than those other papers and more directly reporting, if you will. Trump call with Turkish leader is what led to the U.S. pullout. Trump says the shutdown could last a very long time. And then here's my site. I was going to pull something down from there to read today, but we never showed it on the program, so I thought maybe here at the beginning of the last show we'll do that too. I am AntiClimactic, and this is works from 1977 to 2017. So I've put just a ton of stuff here. You have stuff from San Francisco, North Oakland, New York, when I lived in New York, poetry, journalism, landscape photography, Asia, short film, media. It's got other projects of mine. When I was doing all that material for the SF Giants, my YouTube site, the Rocky Point Recharge Zone, the field that I study, my campaign for mayor of San Francisco in 2011, yesterday's Hoops, which is about basketball. Here in the archives, you can see December 2017 is when I ended this, and it goes all the way down to 1977, April of 1977. And there's posts in that year, 17, that I put in some in here as well. So this is an archive, mtcarthic.org. And I just wanted to show that to you guys too. So the methods I use for starting the day and interpreting news in a newsroom are methods that I thought I would share for the first time on this program. And I wanted to codify some of what is going on by doing that. So now you have a chance to quickly read the core material. And in the core material, what are you getting from it when you're producing news? Think about it for yourself. Well, you're getting the quotes. This is the actual quote of what the actual person said. You know, oh, well, which person? Well, they're this person. The attribute, right? They are scientists. They work at this place. They are a politician. They work at this place. They are the defense secretary's secretary. You know, and so you get quotes from those people specifically about what is happening, not interpretations of the same. And if you look at it like we just did, if you kind of and throw it out, you get a quick picture at 13 minutes past noon on the East Coast of what folks are thinking about and operating on and doing. 13 minutes after 9 a.m. what Silicon Valley and the LA area is doing. AP doing what it does, which is declaring what is news in some ways, but has done for a very long time, and what they think is news. You can process a lot more information a lot faster through a method like this, and that is something I wanted to share. I hope that the AntiClimactic NonShow, which will be cut up into pieces, I'm going to just cut them into even tinier little pieces, some little bits, gags, lines, and I'm going to leave them up on the internet. So I hope you guys will take a look at that and understand sort of what